at townhall.com.
You've heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something?
Boat wins!
Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing?
Boat wins!
Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing?
Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Stocks surged to one of their biggest gains since World War II after President Trump paused his tariffs against most other nations, as investors had desperately hoped he would. The S&P 500 soared 9.5%, the index still below where it was when the president announced his sweeping set of tariffs last week. The Dow flew nearly 8% higher, and the Nasdaq Composite jumped 12.2%. Trump did raise tariffs further on China. Treasury yields gave back some of their big market rattling gains following the president's pause on most tariffs. The Dow was up 2,962 points to close at 40,608. The Nasdaq gained 857 points to 17,124. The S&P 500 added 474 to 5456. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and showy this evening, a low temperature dipping to 47. Tomorrow, we have a blend of sunshine and clouds. We'll have a high climbing to 75. And Friday, look for us to start off with about a 50% chance of some showers. Things do get better for the afternoon with partly cloudy, partly sunny skies. Saturday and Sunday looking pretty nice. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
The Point. WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All righty, welcome in Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. Another gorgeous day. Why wouldn't it be gorgeous? The Masters tees off tomorrow. You know, God is a golf fan. He's going to make the weather, well, sometimes it rains in Augusta, but for the most part, he's going to make the weather gorgeous for the week of the Masters. And after the rain on Monday, it's just been absolutely beautiful. I bet you the azaleas are at their peak, and everything is just perfect and pristine around Augusta National, where the patrons tread lightly, and they pay $1.25 for pimento cheese sandwiches still to this day. Those are the best pimento cheese sandwiches in the world, no doubt about it, and the lemonade's good as well. So tonight we dive into our Masters coverage. We'll hear from the defending champion, Scottie Scheffler. MJ Ward is back. He is in Augusta. He'll be joining us tonight. Don Williams will be on the course tomorrow, and he, of course, will be with us, the master of all Masters reporters. He'll be with us tomorrow night and on Friday night as we bring you the best coverage of the Masters anywhere in South Carolina. Our phone number, 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number that you can use to dial us up. Great calls so far this week. We can take more tonight. It is an SC Wild night with Major Billy Downer. He'll join us at 35. Also tonight, more South Carolina and Clemson and Coastal football. We're going to get to Coach Tim Beck. His hair's turning gray.
10-1 odds on whether or not we actually get there.
No, we're going to get to it. We're so lucky to be so full of it the last couple of nights, and we're full of it tonight. But we'll get to him. And also, Paul Maneri, definitely want to get to this, South Carolina baseball coach. Some comments for him after last night's win over Upstate, a 7-inning affair, and some thoughts from him about his team and what's been going on and how they're dealing with it. More bad news. I mean, you got to also consider, for this baseball team, the injury factor. I know coaches, fans, they don't want to hear it, but it's a fact of life. When you lose good players, it hurts you. And they lost a starter out of their rotation. They've had a second starter on the shelf the last few weeks. Now Talmadge LeCroy is out for the rest of the season. He's your regular catcher. One thing I'm starting to believe, and it might have been Ray Tanner or somebody else a few years ago who said, if you don't have a good catcher, you're not going to have a good team. And you look at teams that have good catchers, they're usually pretty good. And when you have a catching dilemma, and South Carolina has a definite catching dilemma, they're struggling. I think there's a correlation there between having an excellent catcher and the overall play of your team. So they're going to have to kind of piece that thing together behind the plate moving forward the rest of the season. They play that series at Texas A&M starting tomorrow night. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series there in College Station. So we got that. Clemson's playing tonight against Gardner-Webb beginning at 6:30. We'll update that and other baseball for you across the state, around the SEC and the ACC. You can also shoot us a text message. Love to get to your text messages. We got more of those to read. And our text message line brought to you by Larry Lucas and Larry Lucas Insurance in Columbia. Our text message line number is 803-900-4847. 803-900-4847. Welcome, Bergie, from the Bergie Palace. Any good golf courses near the Bergie Palace that when you have a slow day, you pull out the sticks and you go chop it around for 9 or 18?
There actually is. There's a nice public golf course, maybe a Tiger Woods driver, not my driver, but a Tiger Woods driver from here, Trace's Golf Club, one of the premier sort of public golf courses here in the PD. It's right around the corner from here. So on occasion, I've snuck over there and played, enjoy that as well. But the weather I think is going to be superb throughout the weekend, actually warming up, which I'm sure the players will enjoy, and the Azaleas will as well. We've had years in the past where we've gotten that late cold snap, and the freezing temperatures come in, and Augusta has to find someplace outside of South Carolina and the Carolinas and Georgia to go bring in azaleas from somewhere else. I don't think they'll have to do that this year, so that's always fun to keep an eye on the foliage at Augusta, which is probably just as famous as the guys who will be playing this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, Augusta National is one of the, what would you say, top 5 sporting venues in the world. What would you put in your top 5? Augusta National. You're thinking about stadiums. I mean, it's hard to say Yankee Stadium, for example, because it's not
the old Yankee Stadium,
the real Yankee Stadium. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Wrigley Field, of course, it's still around. Fenway Park, Indianapolis Speedway, right. Churchill Downs, and we're thinking here in America. If we're talking around the world, of course, there's many others, but. Certainly
at Darlington for NASCAR.
Darlington, yeah. But certainly Augusta National, stands right up there at the very top of those locations that you think of when you talk about great locations. All right, a couple of the notes of the day, and then your phone calls. 888-898-2525 is the number. Let's talk high school because there was a meeting today, a high school league executive committee, and they did a number of significant things. From a statewide standpoint, Bergie, I guess the most important items, the decision to move the state basketball championship finals back to Colonial Life Arena in Columbia starting next season, so that's a good deal. They'll have upper and lower state finals where they should be, in the upper and lower state. Florence Center will host the lower state finals once again, and the upper state is still to be determined, but I would look for Wofford's Arena perhaps to be in the mix for that. So that's good news there. And also The state football championship games will go back to South Carolina State this year, but they're working on a deal to move it back to South Carolina, University of South Carolina, Williams-Brice Stadium, the year after that. I wonder how much of all this you think is reaction to the threat of the legislature coming in and doing away with the high school league and taking over high school sports?
It's a really interesting question, and one I had not considered until you just posed it, but I think it clearly probably had at least some impact, you would think, Phil, because common sense finally reigns with the high school league. Where's the most centralized location in the state of South Carolina? Oh, Columbia. Maybe that's where we should play all our state championship games, in Columbia. And so this was an easy fix, and kudos to the high school league. And also, I think USC probably deserves some credit because in the years past, we've heard the reason they couldn't play at either Williams-Brice Stadium or at Colonial Life Arena was because the fees were too exorbitant for the high school league. Something got worked out. Not sure what it is, but somebody had to capitulate a little bit and compromise and figure out what's best for the high school athletes. State newspaper had an interesting comment, a couple of comments from some of the coaches in the upstate that talked to Greenville High School boys basketball coach Mike Anderson, and he was talking about how much money it costs them to come over here to Florence to play the upper state finals, and then also have to come back and play the state championship games. I mean, just 0 sense that made to have the upper state here. I love it that Florence is able to keep the lower state. Makes sense. We're technically in the lower state over here. But for the upper state schools, for Greenville High School, for Walhalla High School, for TL Hanna, whatever the case may be, for them to have to drive over here to play it does not make any sense at all. I am surprised, though, for the upper state this upcoming year, they're going to find neutral sites decided on by the high schools. They'll find some place where they can play. So I'm guessing Bon Secure's Wellness had no interest in being a part of this. So I like your suggestion. Take it to the Jerry Richardson Indoor Stadium at Wofford.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful facility, beautiful place. That'd be a perfect place to host the upper state finals.
Absolutely. All right, some other things to tell you about. Oh, also from the high school league today, the executive committee, they reinstated the Ashley Ridge football team to the playoffs for this coming season. They had been on probation. That has been lifted, but Coach Jeff Tate has been suspended for the year from all. He can have no contact with any athletic program at Ashley Ridge as a result of whatever it was that went down there at Ashley Ridge. So Coach Jeff Tate's been a long-time, very successful coach in our state, and it's one of the few times I've heard where action has been taken on a coach. But you know what? This is what coaches have said in the past. Don't punish my teams and my players, punish me or fine the school. So this is what they're doing. They're punishing the coach. And they're returning the team to eligibility for the playoffs. What do you think about all that?
If it's supposed to be a team game and coaches tell us that we're all family and we're all part of the team, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I mean, yeah, the coach is the adult and they're supposed to know the rules. The kids aren't. But, I mean, if we're all a team, then the team should be in trouble. The team should be suspended. The team, not just single out the coach. So, but if he made egregious, and I don't know the background on this, but if he made egregious moves, and they actually said in the appeal, we know we broke a rule. So if you knew you broke a rule, then yeah, you need to pay for it. But I'm sort of in the camp of the team should suffer the consequences, not just one individual who happens to be the head coach.
One more note from the meetings today, and that is that Legion Collegiate up in Rock Hill is going to be admitted to the high school league as an at-large member of the league, which means they'll play other high school league teams, but they won't play a region schedule. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were in the league once before, and then they left and joined the North Carolina Association, and now they're coming back to the South Carolina Association. I think I'm right on that, but they will be in a membership situation where they won't be playing any region games. They'll be in a region, but I guess those games, if they play region teams, it won't count as region games. Okay, and
how would they qualify for the playoffs then?
I don't know that they can.
Then what's the point?
I guess the point is they want to play state teams. They want to play area teams. I guess at some point they'll become a full member. But at least at the start here, they're going to be an at-large member.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
So it's like trial run for them.
I guess maybe a probationary period or something like that. I'm just going by what they put out. So how about this story? And I promise you, I am not going to be one of those reactionary people anymore. Never again to what I read and hear and talk about when it comes to what college athletes are going to be making. Because they're going to be making a lot of money, and you can't be astonished anymore. Just like with the other pro athletes. They're pro athletes, and just like the other pro athletes, you cannot be astonished when somebody makes $80 million a year. I bring this up because J.T. Toppin is staying at Texas Tech. He's not going to the draft, and he's expected to be paid, according to Matt Norlander of CBSSports.com, $4 million in NIL earnings at Texas Tech next season. That's a source telling him. That is the, as they put it, latest, biggest piece of evidence that reflects how invested Texas Tech is in basketball. Positive development, it says here, for the sport to retain a player as great as Toppin. So Texas Tech's willing to spend $4 million on J.T. Toppin. And so a couple of things come to mind there. Keep in mind that when you talk about the $20.5 million, and that has not yet been approved, as that thing is still pending, but if it starts at that, $20.5 million, you can also pay your players over the top through NIL. But these NIL deals are supposed to be, if they're more than $600, they're supposed to be approved by a clearinghouse that is supposed to determine your actual market value. So I don't know what Texas Tech has in mind here. If they get this deal done before July 1st, I guess it doesn't fall under the umbrella of the new rules. So I think that's why you're going to see schools scrambling and agents scrambling for their players to get these deals done before July 1st when the new rules are supposed to take place. That would be my guess. So you're probably going to see a lot of these kind of deals, especially in basketball, knowing that one guy can make you a Final Four team. You're going to see a lot of these big deals, I think, pop up over the next couple of months before things go into effect in July, assuming that judge goes ahead and approves everything that they've been talking about this week.
But J.T. Toppin didn't make them a Final Four team. So is $4 million what you have to pay to get to the Sweet 16 Elite Eight? So you have to pay, what, $6 million per player to get to the Final Four? I mean, is that what this precedent is going to set?
I don't know, man. You have to ask the general manager of Texas Tech basketball.
I mean, he's a terrific player. There's no question. He averaged almost a double-double this season. They were a very good basketball team, but they didn't win anything.
This is true.
And, if I'm going to invest, if I'm a fan at Texas Tech, and let's face it, this is where it's going to come down to brass tacks. If I'm a fan at Texas Tech and I see my school utilizing the money I'm sending in to pay for one player, he better darn sure get us to the Final Four if we're going to pay him $4 million.
And what does this mean to Texas Tech football? And how much of the money of the big pie, how much of the big pie is going to basketball and football's like, hello. And also there's this. Now, this could be a thing moving forward. So, Dabo Swinney and Shane Beamer, listen up. Central Florida coach Scott Frost and his wife, Ashley, they are making a $500,000 commitment to what's called the UCF Competitive Success Fund. In other words, they're collective. I love these names they come up with. The Competitive Success Fund that directly enhances UCF's ability to recruit, retain, and develop student athletes. Oh, I'm sorry, not the student, but the athlete. I forgot. I don't say student, just the athlete part. So they're given $500,000, and of course they can afford that. What does he make? He's making about $3 or $4 million at UCF. So now Mitt Winter, who's a guy that I follow, who's an attorney who's been staying on top of all this legal action. He wrote that the NCAA tried to prohibit coaches from donating to collectives, but it can't stop coaches from giving to school athletic funds where the money is intended to be used for paying the school's athletes. So you can't stop them. So what's to stop Shane Beamer, Dabo Sweeney to pop down $1 million into the coffer if they need to go get a guy. Why shouldn't they put the money down instead of going out to the biggest donor? Why don't you guys put the money down? You got the money.
I've got no problem with that, Phil. That actually is probably the most logical solution. You're a businessman. You run a business. You see an area of your business because you've invested into it. You see an area where, Sports Talk is struggling. Let's go out and hire Matt Smith. And Phil's going to pay Matt Smith $100,000 because he's worth it. If I'm Shane Beamer and I see
Smitty's listening, I don't want him to get any crazy ideas.
But I'm Shane Beamer and I see, hey, we need a running back, and there's a guy in the portal that I think we can get for $2.5 million. I'm in pretty good financial shape. Why don't I just slice off a check and give it to the collective and let them go? I think it makes perfect sense.
Well, certainly Dabo could do it. I mean, he's making $11 million now. Beamer might be pinched a little bit. He's only making $5 million, so that would, percentage wise, that would hit him harder. And plus, he still has young kids. Dabo's kids are grown and on their own pretty much, or they're being paid. They're going through the Clemson program. But he's got $11 million. How's he going to miss? If he takes $1 million and he puts it in the coffers, how's he going to miss it? That leaves him 10 for a particular year, and Clemson will give it back to him somewhere down the road.
Sure.
So yeah, I think they should probably dig into their own pockets and help out their own. You can do it, apparently. We'll be right back after the break.
When I grew up, I want to be a nurse. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a teacher.
There's never been a better time to start making their dreams come true. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to save for their future education. Contributions are tax deductible, earnings are tax free, and you can start saving right now with any amount. Go to futurescholar.com today to discover the smart, easy way to save for college. That's futurescholar.com.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's Corbett. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
Hi, this is Major Billy Downer, and coming up tonight at 7:30, it's another edition of SC Wow from the Department of Natural Resources on the Sports Talk Media Network.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Okay, it's Sports Talk Media Network, and our poll question of the week, presented by Larry Lucas Insurance. Call Larry at 803-799-1998 for all your insurance questions and needs, and he'll help you out one way or the other. Who's your pick to win the Masters? Who's your pick? We got the field at 50%, Scotty at 30%, Rory at 20%, and nobody's picking Jordan Spieth, who's usually
shoot like 6 over par at the par 3 today.
Who, Jordan?
Yeah.
That's par 3. How about Gary Player playing at the age of 89?
Awesome.
Isn't that awesome? Guy's probably got a body of a 60-year-old, you know.
I was going to say, I wish I were in that kind of shape when I get to be 89. Heck, I wish I were in that kind of shape today. I've never been in as good a shape as Gary Player is right now.
I just hope the two of us can get to 89. Can we get to 89? Let's hope we can get to 89, you know. That'd be fine with me. And still doing the show. You think we'll be doing the show when we're 89?
No.
You won't be doing the show?
Sadly, I don't think it has anything to do with us, Phil. I think our business, look how much our business has changed in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah.
We're talking.
Well, we got to make our business
50 more years for me to get to 89.
People need to realize how important radio is. Radio is still a very important cog in the communication process of this country. And it actually does much better than a lot of people think. Everybody thinks it's all on the internet or YouTube, and those are big, don't get me wrong, but studies and statistics show that radio, especially local radio, is extremely healthy and very viable. Advertisers love it. They love the fact you get their local messages out to local people. It's still a thing, radio, and it's not going away anytime soon. Okay, gosh, let's go ahead and jump on the phones. We'll carry you over when we hit the break. But it's time for a visit from our friend, the Angry Black Man. His family calls him Triple T, but we're not family. ABM, welcome in. How are you?
Good afternoon. All y'all Carolina fan out there who talking about Don need to go, let me tell y'all something. I'm not a Carolina fan.
Who said that?
But
name me one.
Wait that finish, Phil. I saw some people on the net and Facebook and everything. Let me tell y'all something. I'm not a Carolina fan, but I'm a Dawn Staley fan. Dawn is like a daughter to me. And I will put you, I tell all fellas, I'll put you where your cat put the lid at when it comes to my daughter. Same thing with Dawn. Anybody who got a problem with Dawn, I'll meet you on Gervais Street in front of the state capitol, and we can go and handle this.
Ooh.
I'm not a Carolina fan,
yeah,
but you ain't going to beat up on Dawn. Last time I checked, Dawn won 3 national championships, and they won one last year.
She's got more natties than Dabo.
That's what I'm saying. Well, the 3 the same thing. But like I said, yeah, that's true. But let me tell y'all folks, whatever y'all are, you better lay off Dawn, brother, because you got to deal with Triple T, trash-talking Tiger, and I will kick you know what when it comes to Dawn.
Good hearing from you. We'll be back after the break.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and showy this evening, a low temperature dipping to 47. Tomorrow, we have a blend of sunshine and clouds. We'll have a high climbing to 75. And Friday, look for us to start off with about a 50% chance of some showers. Things do get better for the afternoon with partly cloudy, partly sunny skies. Saturday and Sunday looking pretty nice. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing our new healthy gluten-free menu. For your choices, we offer charbroiled certified Angus ribeye steak, juicy marinated grilled chicken dinner, fresh grilled salmon, authentic Greek salad, hamburger steak with grilled onions and melted cheese, shish kebab with grilled chicken, veggie blue plate with a choice of 4 vegetable selections, spring chicken salad, and of course, our famous slow roasted pot roast. Come and enjoy a healthy gluten-free menu at Flight Deck Restaurant. We at Flight Deck Restaurant thank you, and God bless.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump on Wednesday abruptly backed off his tariffs on most nations for 90 days, but raised his tax rate on Chinese imports to 125%. It was seemingly an attempt to narrow what had been an unprecedented trade war between the U.S. and most of the world, one between the U.S. and China. Global markets surged on the development, but the precise details of Trump's plans to ease tariffs on non-China trade partners were not immediately clear. President Trump says Israel would be the leader of a potential military strike against Iran if Tehran doesn't give up its nuclear weapons program. Trump made the comments on Wednesday ahead of this weekend's scheduled talks involving U.S. and Iranian officials in the Middle East Sultanate of Oman. More details at srnnews.com.
People hear me talking about Broker Solar and how much I like Ken and his team. They ask, hey, can I really trust this guy, Kev? Let me tell you two things. Number one, Ken and Broker Solar are legit. I've known Ken's family for 20 plus years. Seriously, these are local, ethical people. They're not going anywhere, and they do things the right way. Number two, Broker Solar is so different than these stereotypes we've heard about in the solar industry. There's no signs on the yard making stupid promises they can't keep. There's no door knockers trying to pressure you at your own door. Ken and Broker Solar will tell you the truth, what it'll cost, and how your solar power investment will pay off. See, we can't pick our power companies. Broker Solar gives you a chance to take some control over your power bill, and I like that, and so should you. Online, it's brokersolar.com, and seriously, reach out to Ken and these folks. It could really make a difference in your quality of life. Brokersolar.com, empowering you so you're not powerless.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American-made for life.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
Now through May 31st, 2025, buy the house now, reset your rate later with Mortgage Reset from Founders Federal Credit Union. Open a new mortgage or refinance an existing mortgage and get the lowest rate you qualify for now. Set up direct deposit and then you can reset your rate once for free at any time rates drop. That's right, at any time during the life of the loan, you can reset your rate to the lowest rate you qualify for at that time at no additional cost. It's that easy. Visit foundersfcu.com/mortgage to learn more. Find your local mortgage loan officer or to start your application. You can always start your application and save your progress to complete later. Not a member with Founders yet? Don't wait. Visit us online or stop by an office to see if you qualify for membership. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required. Equal housing lender. Institution NMLS. Identifier number 410646.
At 6, don't miss the vibe. South Carolina's pride, we're live. Sports Talk's the place to be. From the court to the field, we're breaking news free. Join the team, follow X for more. We're taking over, that's for sure. Corn's insight, Bergen's wit, Cohen's energy. They're the perfect fit. 2 hours of sports talk bliss. Don't miss a minute of this. Sports Talk, the place to be. From the court to the field, we're breaking news free. Join the team, follow X for more. We're taking over, that's for sure.
Okay, back with you, Sports Talk Media Network. Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, the energetic plumber. I see nothing energetic. You know, I've seen the video of our show from time to time, plumber, and I've seen you dozing off and sometimes yawning. So I don't know that the energy description really fits you the way it should. Just got a text message from Major Billy Downer. He's had something come up in a family situation that he is not going to be able to be with us tonight. So he'll be back with us next week. We send out our best to Major Downer and hope for the best for Major Downer and the family there. But he just let me know that something's come up here just a little while ago and will not be able to make it tonight. So we give the Major, of course, a deserved pass. He'll be back with us next week with another edition of SC Wild here on Sports Talk. Phone number 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Announcing a new way to communicate with us here on Sports Talk. Bergie, how about this? Exciting new way to communicate with us on Sports Talk.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, we just figured this out. I figured it out. The plumber had nothing to do with it. You know, we have our text message line brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance, text message line, which is 803-900-4847. I've discovered that you can also leave us a voice message. So.
Oh, wow.
So. You can text us. Of course, you can call us, number one. But if you don't feel like calling for whatever reason, you don't feel like texting for whatever reason, you can call the same number and leave us a voice message. Of course, we will listen to it, make sure it's worthy of air. And if it is, we will air it. So if you call in a voice message, open it up with your name, give your message, and then say goodbye. And if it's all nice and clean and neat, we'll air it. Same number as the text message line. It's the voice message line. It's the text voice message line or the voice text message line, whichever way you want to look at it. And that number is 803-900-4847. Bergie, do you know the number? Repeat the number. What's the number?
I do not.
You don't know the number?
I don't. I never have said. Wait a minute. Let me see it pop up on the video screen.
That's what he had to do when he hosted the show the last time. Is he just read the screen.
I just read it off the screen.
Come on, man.
So, no, I do not know the text number.
Come on, man. Couple of quick.
Heck, I barely know my own phone number. I don't ever call the text line. Why would I need to know the number?
Couple of quick text messages. This is from Tony in Lancaster, and let's see. Hey guys, simple question: what the heck are these transfers looking for? Well, I think they're looking for two things. I think they're looking for playing time. A lot of them are looking for playing time, but then those who are leaving already starting positions or contributing positions, they're obviously looking for money.
Right.
They think they can improve their money situation somewhere else. Maybe they think they're going to move to it's like the Nick Pringle deal. All right? Everybody's got to make their own decision for their own life, but his decision makes no sense to me unless South Carolina pushed him out, and that's part of the deal too. Who knows who is being wanted to return and who's being pushed out. But he left a national championship contender where he was a contributor to come to a place closer to home, which was a big thing for him, being from a Well Branch graduate from down in Seabrook. He wanted to be closer to home. So South Carolina provided him that opportunity, and he was a starter, and he was a contributor on a bad team that might get better next year. It might, in fact, had he stayed, that would have been a step in that direction probably, because he was good at times. He was very good at times. But looks like he may be headed to Arkansas now for his third SEC stop. Apparently he's going to run out of chances to play for every SEC team. But report
That's
I saw
a money
today.
Grab. That is a money grab in my mind right there. If you're going to Arkansas with the amount of NIL money they allegedly have out there for basketball, that's all that is, because Nick Pringle's game is not going to fit into what John Calipari wants to play and his style of system. He's not going to sit there for the most parts. He did have even Isevich, the big guy, but who could shoot threes. I just don't see Nick Pringle fitting in at Arkansas with their system. I could be wrong, and I hope for his sake I am wrong, but I just don't see it.
Also, Tony writes, we were talking last night about how quickly Ashlyn Watkins could recover from her knee, and I mentioned how football players tend to recover from knees and Achilles, and he writes that Dabo feeds them Ostarine. Okay. You don't have to – that's a kind of a low blow there, Tony, but okay. I get your message there. One more text, and then we'll get back to your phone calls. 888-898-2525. This one writes, I'm surprised Bruce did not ask Korn to get him a pair of signed Becker's underwear when he was in Tampa.
Whoops.
It's just gross to even say that. It's just gross. But I had to say it. It wasn't that, wasn't that far offline. 888-898-2525. Let's continue now with the calls. We go to Wes in Augusta. Wes, welcome in. How are you?
Actually, Phil, it's actually Wes and WBTW's Chris Parks on the way from Augusta.
My man, Chris Parks. How is my man, Chris Parks?
A cheese sandwich, we could have dropped off a sandwich at the old Corn Palace on the way through Columbia. Traffic was not that bad, by the way, coming in. I mean, for us, going out was a pain in the butt, though.
I bet. How was the course today?
Beautiful, beautiful day out there. Ton of patrons. Guys looking good. Course is in great shape. I mean, it looks like the weather's going to be good all weekend coming up here in Augusta. So we could see some fairly good scoring, I would think, especially in tomorrow's first round.
That's awesome. Chris, I hope you're not mad at me because I didn't call you back in December to borrow radio equipment because we have our own now. We bought our own wireless mics. I might have told you that. I might have texted you. So Chris has always been great letting us borrow his wireless mics to use during the broadcast. So thank you so much over all the years for doing that.
Of course, Phil. Yeah, absolutely. I thought just it was because the Shrine Bowl and the North-South Bowl were on the same day, so I figured you were probably in the upstate.
No, we were right there.
And real quick, Phil, mile marker 92, there's a car fire. People are standing out trying to figure out what to do. So if any popos or emergency vehicles listen to me, mile marker 92 on I-20, car's on fire.
Really?
It looks like something Chris Bergen used to drive. So I don't know if it's his car or not. I'm not sure.
Oh,
I'm just thrilled we've got traffic reports now on Sports
really?
Talk. That was the one thing we were missing.
That's right.
Can we get TV 13?
Traffic on the twos.
Can we get Bob Jew back to sponsor that traffic report for us?
I'm gonna have to give him a call. I saw him about 4 weeks ago. I turned 40 a couple weeks ago, and Bob came to my birthday party.
Oh.
So got a chance to catch up with him, which was really nice. Him and his wonderful wife, Renee, are doing fantastic. They live about a couple minutes from Buc-ee's. Just found that out as well, too. So they're in a good spot in Florence.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you guys be safe going home, and thanks for the phone call.
See you,
fellas. You are welcome, and work on that NIL money that you deserved back in the day from Ladder, Phil.
Yeah,
Catch
right.
you later.
Pack of peanuts. And happy birthday to you, Chris. Not you, Chris, but you, Chris.
No.
The other Chris. The TV Chris.
Chris Parks is much younger and better looking than
Bergie,
I
I think you have the looks to be on television. I admit, I don't have a face for television, okay? I do have the old face for radio, and I'm proud of that. I'm happy with that because I don't think the camera ever gets my good side. I've never seen a still photo or a TV camera. Well, like we got the video going. That's not really, it's getting my front, so I guess that is my good side. I don't really have a good side.
It's getting the 5-head.
What's that?
4-head, but big
5-head. Shut up, plumber. Let's go to Bruce in Missouri with us next. Bruce, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, I don't know about the panty thing, but I want to address Triple T on his little shout-out about Don Staley. Triple T, this is Bruce the Bruiser. I've won 3 state championships in football. I played linebacker and fullback. Never left the game. They didn't take me out. Let me tell you something. I'll meet you anywhere, and I'll beat you to a pulp. I'll bruise the hell out of you. I'm telling you right now, you don't need this attitude here. I congratulated the Gamecocks for losing just the other day. Can't you get it through your head? You got to be honorable towards these losers. Thank you.
Appreciate the call. Not.
That would be one that we should have had a voicemail, then we wouldn't have had to listen to.
Bruce is not making any friends anyway. I don't know if he's hated as much in Missouri as he is in South Carolina. And this is his native state.
Hey, Bruce, we get it. You don't like South Carolina. Move on.
Yeah.
Come up with a new topic.
No, listen, I don't have a problem with him calling in and, taking pleasure in South Carolina's loss. He's a Clemson fan.
Sure.
I get that. I do not subscribe to the theory of, having a fight, having a fist fight or anything here. I don't want to be the one contributing to that. We're not contributing to that, okay? Let's be clear. It's not something – this isn't, 1 o'clock in the morning ESPN coverage of women's boxing from Lake Tahoe,
No, K-Mac's no longer with us. K-Mac would meet him.
By the way, there's a lot of women's sports I do appreciate, but can we draw the line and just say women should not be boxing or doing UCF stuff? Seriously. or as a society, is it not beneath us to have women in the ring beating the crap out of each other? I'm serious. I'm serious about that. I really think it shows kind of where we are as a society when women are boxing or
Heck, Phil, I'll go this one step further. You can take UFC, period.
Is it UFC or UCF?
Women.
What do I say? What did I say? UFC?
UCF would be the university reference with Scott Frost earlier. But UFC, I mean, it's just barbaric.
It is.
I mean, it shows exactly where we are as a society, that's as popular as it is.
I mean, if you enjoy that, I'm sorry. There's something wrong with you. There's something, and Trump is right there with him, right? He goes to the UFC. I think he's buddies with the guy that there is something wrong with you if you get pleasure out of watching that. I'm sorry. Just like you ever watched the slap championships? Have you ever watched that before?
I've seen it once or twice just for curiosity's sake.
By accident.
You ever seen those championships online, the tournaments where they play tag and they both start in a car?
Yes.
And you go around this big obstacle course playing tag?
No. I've seen in-car wrestling. Have you ever watched in-car wrestling?
Like, yeah.
Which I ran across. It sounds like I'm doing, it sounds devious, but, I met a professional slapper one time. Did you know that? You were on the air. We did the show from up in the upstate, up in Spartanburg at
Was this Dave and Buster's?
At Dave and Buster's, that's where it was. And one of the employees was a professional slapper.
Exactly. Yep.
In fact, he was telling me that he had just been on TBS or one of those stations and was going back, and I had to go watch it to see what he was talking about. I mean, literally, you stand there and you take a slap to the face as hard as somebody can slap you. And if they knock you out, they knock you out. And if you're able to stand up, you stand up. I'm sorry, that is below the level of civilization that I care to be a part of. I don't consider that sports. That's TV trash. That's just pure TV trash, which a lot of our sports, we have a lot of sports that are nothing but pure TV trash because of the programmers believe they must find sponsors and believe there's an audience for it. I mean, if it can attract 100,000 people to watch it across the country, I guess it's worth it to them. I don't know what their numbers have to be to have something like that televised, but it must be turning a buck, or they wouldn't be doing it. Okay, we're going to hit the break.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to echo your sentiments. It's making money, or it wouldn't be on television.
Yep.
And they wouldn't be fighting in front of what appears to be sold-out arenas all over the place.
Incredible. All right, going to hit the break. We'll come back with more of your phone calls. And coming up on the program, since now there is no SC Wild tonight, that opens things up a little bit more for us. We've got MJ Ward coming up, 7:05 from Augusta. Going to hear from Paul Maneri, Tim Beck, and others here on Sports Talk, and we'll be back after this break.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is here, and as you get ready to go out on the water this spring and summer, make sure you have all the required safety equipment on board. Check for a sound device. A horn or whistle will suffice for most boats. Inspect all of your life jackets. Make sure they're in good condition and are the correct size for all of your passengers. If your boat is over 16 feet, you will need to make sure you have an approved throwable device on board as well. Remember, boating safety is no accident.
The difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hi, Phil Kornblut here with our good friend George Bryan III, heard every Friday night on Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps right here on Sports Talk. George, the Tsunami Bar, a very valuable tool for golfers. Why is that?
Well, the first thing that I say is the tempo. It's the only tool out there that allows the study of tension right from the first grab to be expressed, and rhythm and tempo is what makes the bar work, and it gives you something awfully special to keep those hands soft and get that rhythm going.
Learn more about Tsunami Bar technology by clicking on the digital ad on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, and save 5% by purchasing online using the promo code BBB5. Welcome back, Sports Talk Media Network. South Carolina's longest-running sports talk show, South Carolina's most listened-to sports talk show. And when I'm talking with my face on the screen, it is, without a doubt, South Carolina's most handsome. If you could put a face on a show, it is South Carolina's most handsome sports talk show. I'd put this mug up against anybody's mug in the radio business. Competition's not stiff, believe me. It ain't stiff at all. A couple of other text messages. Okay. When will you start asking if USC... Okay, come on. When will you start asking if USC is getting their money's worth in Dawn Staley? She is the highest paid women's basketball coach, and she's not even in the top 3 of winningest coaches. Gino has 12 now. Pat Summit has 5, and she's dead. All right, come on.
That's a stupid comment. First off, Gino's, 15 years older, I think, than Dawn is.
Mm-hmm.
And Dawn Staley has taken this team to 5 consecutive Final Fours. I'd say, now, money's worth, that's up for debate, but she's well compensated for the job she does. And this is why I get frustrated with our listeners. You're supposed to help make the show better, people, not worse.
Well, no. Hey, listen, I appreciate disagreeing opinions is fine with me. If somebody, we don't have to view them as being smart or accurate, or uplifting. But
have a reason. Why would you ask that question? I guess is how. Do you not think that Dawn Staley is a good coach?
Yeah,
if you're going to have an opinion like that, come with some facts on the backside to back it up. I agree with you. I've got no problem with contrasting viewpoints and opinions, but that one makes no sense whatsoever.
That's a spoiled fan. That's a spoiled fan if it's indeed a Gamecock fan.
I can almost guarantee it's not.
Eddie here, agree, Phil. Hush, Chase. If Chase was more competitive lately, his comments would have been more constructive. A lot of it is he just ain't winning. He also wanted us to ask Josh how he feels about Lamar Jackson suing Dale Jr. over the number 8. Have you heard that?
Yes. I didn't read the story, but I did see the headline.
Oh. What's he want Dale Jr. to do? Give up the number 8?
To pull back up the story.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Hank in Columbia while you're looking that up before the top of the hour. Hank, welcome into Sports Talk. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Corn. Yeah, those guys are haters, and they just calling in. It's just what it is. But Corn, the thing y'all were speaking about. First of all, congratulations, Corn, because you and Bergie are fussing enough, so you got the basketball championship back in Columbia. When I read it this morning, I said that could only be because they heard Corn fussing every night, and they decided the exec committee said, "By gosh, we're going to put this on here and see what they got there." But but secondly, for the coach at Ashley Ridge, him being out that year, that's what Ashley Ridge proposed as a punishment to eliminate them not being out of the playoffs because the coach admitted to recruiting some football players, and because Ashley Ridge had been taken out of the basketball playoffs for the same thing, taking a player and playing an ineligible, which was basically a player whose sister was playing at another school in town where the parents live, but playing over at Ashley Ridge. It's kind of like two back-to-back things that normally would be basically a death penalty for any type of playoffs or whatever. And Ashley Ridge just pleaded that because they could prove that the coach admitted it, Tate admitted it, so they allowed him to sacrifice him for the year to at least allow the team to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, we were talking off air. We thought that Ashley Ridge also had a problem with girls basketball in the playoffs as well. So that somebody needs to take a closer look at that program, don't they?
Yeah, I would. Me being a former administrator, my thing would be starting to look at the principal and the AD and having the AD either have some stern meeting compliance workshops, compliance professional development with the coaches, because that's two things where coaches are trying to do stuff that affect kids who attend Ashley Ridge, who are legally there playing, and that's an institutional administrative problem to me.
Yeah, but now, aren't they looking at a rule for a one-time transfer? Aren't they discussing that in the future, a free one-time transfer?
Yeah, they did approve the one-time transfer, but the way that works is you get that one time either in middle school and then one time in high school, and you still have to there's some stuff you have to show. You can't just go out there actively just grabbing people.
You still have to show residence?
Well, yeah, you still got to show. Yeah, you still got to show residence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you very much. Appreciate the phone call. Top of the hour. Let's go to Augusta.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. Facing a global market meltdown, President Trump on Wednesday abruptly backed down on his tariffs on most nations for 90 days, but raised his tax rate on Chinese imports to 125%. It was seemingly an attempt to narrow what had been an unprecedented trade war between the U.S. and most of the world, the one between the U.S. and China. Global markets surged on the development, but the precise details of Trump's plan to ease tariffs on non-China trade partners were not immediately clear. There still appear to be 25% tariffs on autos, steel, and aluminum, with more imports set to be tariffed in the weeks ahead. U.S. stocks surged on the euphoric Wall Street after President Trump said he would temporarily back off on some of his tariffs, as investors had desperately hoped he would. The S&P 500 soared 8.3% Wednesday. It had been down earlier in the morning amid worries that Trump's trade war would cause a global recession. The Dow Jones Industrial Average erased an early loss to jump 2,640 points, and the NASDAQ Composite was 10.3% higher. Trump, though, did raise tariffs further on China. Treasury yield voted 216 to 215 on the rule to tee up floor debate on the Senate-approved budget resolution and a vote on approval. On Wall Street, the Dow by 2,962 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hear me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Healthcare is complicated. It doesn't have to be. If you don't love how your health insurance works, maybe it's time to leave traditional health insurance behind. Take charge of your healthcare with Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM offers you flexibility. Enroll anytime, choose your own provider, and select the program that fits your needs and budget. CHM is the original faith-based way of taking care of your medical bill costs. Learn more at chministries.org/wellness.
5. Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Stocks surged to one of their biggest gains since World War II after President Trump paused his tariffs against most other nations, as investors had desperately hoped he would. The S&P 500 soared 9.5%, the index still below where it was when the president announced his sweeping set of tariffs last week. The Dow flew nearly 8% higher, and the NASDAQ composite jumped 12.2%. Trump did raise tariffs further on China. Treasury yields gave back some of their big market rattling gains following the president's pause on most tariffs. The Dow was up 2,962 points to close at 40,608. The NASDAQ gained 857 points to 17,124. The S&P 500 added 474 to 5456. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and showy this evening, a low temperature dipping to 47. Tomorrow, we have a blend of sunshine and clouds. We'll have a high climbing to 75. And Friday, look for us to start off with about a 50% chance of some showers. Things do get better for the afternoon with partly cloudy, partly sunny skies. Saturday and Sunday looking pretty nice. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, and fireplaces. Spring Sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
We're back on Sports Talk Media Network. Good to have you with us. It's Phil Kornblut, Chris Bergen, and the plumber, Josh Cohen, all together. Our phone number, 888-898-2525, and our voice and text message line. That's right. You can leave us a voice message as well. We just installed this new technology. Just installed it like a half hour ago, more or less, in our minds. So you can leave us a voice message, and if it passes muster, we can air that. Or you can leave us a text message. That number is 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847. We'll get to more of your messages and all that coming up. But for the first time this week, let's travel down to Augusta National. And we welcome in one of our two men on the scene. Don Williams will join us tomorrow night, but tonight we get a scene setter from the scene as MJ Ward joins us here once again on Sports Talk MJ, great to have you with us. How are you? How many pimento cheese sandwiches have you downed already?
Yeah, well, I try to pass on that delicacy, Phil.
How do you do that? How do you manage to hold off?
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Augusta, the media area, I frankly is amazing. I mean, it's something, it's a story in and of itself how that whole thing became what it became. But it's always good to be here. It's always good to be about what's going on. I mean, it's if you're a golfer, even if you're a non-golfer, the Masters has a certain place in the global sports world. And it's obviously, one of the key events that I think anybody who is into spring really wants to be a part of.
Well, today was a busy day with the par 3 contest and a whole bunch of other fun things that go on the day before. What is the day before like? Do you find the players, I mean, let's face it, now they're going into their Super Bowl tomorrow, and, before a real Super Bowl, players are tense, coaches are tense. They don't mess with the media or anything like that. What about the golfers? What do you sense from them the day before teeing off in the Masters?
Well, I think it's a kind of combination of two things. There's the anticipation, the eager to get out there and do what you need to do. But, pressure affects people differently. There's no way that one can say, oh, here it is, and then everybody's going to be affected the same way. I've been doing this for a number of years and all the other majors, but the first one is obviously a crucial one. And what you really want to do with tomorrow is you just don't want to do anything really stupid and take yourself out of it. It's easier said than done. I mean, we can everybody can give the perfect game plan, and then you got to execute. But, with a limited field and with the players that are really at the best in the game, they're very knowledgeable about the golf course. So there really aren't any surprises. It's just, you have to, I think one of the things that's often missed a lot of times, Phil, is how well does a practice session go? And I think sometimes, it can really set the tone. And I think there isn't a golfer around that has ever played a round of golf, and then you went to the practice area and you hit balls, and then you said, "Man, I'm really lost out here." And then you really go to the first tee with a lot of question marks and a lot of stuff is going through your brain. So I think a lot of times it's just how do you feel when you get there, and how well does the session go? Sometimes sessions go well, and then you're not able to score when you get out on the golf course. So it's not always a lock cinch situation, but. I can remember when Greg Norman was playing in the final round in '96, and he said he had a horrible practice session, and it just carried over to this day. But that's a final round. This is a first round, so there's a little different feel between a first round and a final round. Obviously, everybody's in it. Nobody has made a score yet. But I think there's both anticipation and just to see how the wheels feel when you finally hit the track.
For the record, Nicola Echeverria won the par 3 today in a playoff with J.J. Spawn, so you can scratch him. Of course, you think, will that ever be broken? Will a par 3 winner ever win the Masters?
I think that's one of those kind of trivial questions that, everybody knows the answer to, but really could care less about. The par 3 contest has become really sort of like Augusta's picnic. It's golf's picnic. And it's about people coming together and, trying to let loose with family, kind of take the edge off the day. If it happens, it happens. Clearly there have been people who have won the par 3 but haven't done it in the same year and won the tournament. So I don't think it's really, a big deal. But I think it gives the players an opportunity to take a breath and then obviously get ready for the day ahead.
And how sweet was it to have 89-year-old Gary Player out there? And I'm assuming he'll be teeing it up in the morning with Jack and who
Tom
else?
Watson.
Yeah, Tom Watson. Those three once again, right? It'll be those three?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Gary Player, Phil, I marvel at the guy. I think part of the issue with Gary Player is because he's from South Africa originally, and the man won 9 major championships. And when you look at his frame, and when you think about this guy is taking on Arnold and Jack on their soil, and he's over here doing what he had to do. He obviously was the first foreign player to win the tournament, and then he won his last Masters 17 years after he won his first one, and he shot 64 the last day to do that with a 15-foot birdie putt on the last hole. He's something. I mean, I know there are certain people that are taken aback by Gary Player. Some people think he's a little bit, he pushes the envelope too much in terms of talking about himself. But I look at it this way, Phil. When you have won 9 majors, when you can win 10 majors, you can tell Gary to shut up, okay? Because you got nothing to say.
Yeah.
I mean, the man's a career Grand Slam winner. He's won all over the world. I would think that the only person that's got more mileage in the air is the character that George Clooney played in the movie Up in the Air. There's no way that somebody could be in a plane as much as this guy's been to go where he goes. And, I'm a big fan of his, and I'm grateful to see the 3 of them on the tee tomorrow. I mean, they're obviously they are icons of the game, and it's just great to see all of that happen. And, only at Augusta can that happen, and I think it's great.
Sure.
MJ Ward with us here tonight. Looking forward to the opening round of the Masters. Starts tomorrow morning over at Augusta National. And MJ, this will be, I guess, the first real competition between the LIV golfers and the PGA Tour. There are 12 that will be competing in the Masters. They did not play at the Players Championship. So this, in terms of major type golf, will be the first time this season we've seen those guys. How big a distraction will they be? How difficult is that for them to get ready and play? And how big a transition will it be for the PGA Tour guys to actually see, Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka and those type guys?
I'm grateful that you mentioned this, but I think this is one of these self-created stories that tries to be something bigger than what it is. These guys known each other for quite some time. Let me put it this way. Many years ago, and you guys probably may or may not remember this, when the Olympics used to feature the Iron Curtain countries, okay, Russia, the Soviet Union, you would never see these people until the Olympics, okay, because they would not be allowed to participate in playing in the sports that were available to them, and you would not see them. But, all these guys know each other. I mean, yes, they haven't played on a regular basis. So, you know what, it'll be interesting to see how they do. But, quite frankly, there's only about a half a dozen of these guys that is really on form for what they are doing coming into the tournament. So it'll be interesting to see, exactly, how Joaquin Newman does. I mean, this guy's been touted for quite some time. He's a tremendous player. But now, it's got to be, hey, can I show up and really start to put the scores up that I really need to show what I need to do here. And then there's always, you have storylines with a lot of these guys. Cameron Smith, tremendous player. He's been close at Augusta. Brooks Koepka, obviously, he's been close. So you do have different players that, can be there. Bryson, obviously, I mean, he's the defending U.S. Open champion. He's won it twice. Had a good run at it last year. So, yeah, I think they're going to be a storyline that what goes in here. But I think at the end of the day, it really comes down to these two guys. It comes down to Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. I mean, in Scottie's case, if he wins, it's 3 Masters in the last 4 years. Only Nicklaus has ever done that. If Rory wins, it ends the majorless streak that he's had since 2014. And it obviously he joins the career Grand Slam club. But, it's these two guys. I mean, at the end of the day, these are the two men that are really at the pivotal point at the top of the pecking order. Whether or not that can translate in both of them playing to form as they go through the tournament, well, that's another story in of itself. Sometimes the top 2 players in the world, they are not on the same page in terms of both playing well to give you the kind of outcome that you would see. And I wrote a piece on this. It's been done by other people. I'm not the only one. But 50 years ago, you had Nicklaus and Tom Weiskopf and Johnny Miller all at the peak of their games playing in probably one of the greatest Masters of all time. And, it does happen, but it doesn't happen as often as you might think it can happen because it's hard to get everybody to play at the highest level with the top players in the world, and it'll be interesting to see how these two guys play through the rest of the week.
MJ, yeah, it's interesting you bring up those two guys because I saw a debate on ESPN a little bit earlier today, and the question was not the better story because I think Rory is the better story, but what is more impressive, if Scheffler wins again or if McIlroy finally snaps that streak and gets the win?
Yeah, I mean, I think Scottie Scheffler, I mean, he's a really good guy. I think a lot of people, sometimes you'll see people on when they're playing golf. I mean, he's not out there like these guys are supposed to be Lee Trevino and have a joke every 2 or 3 holes with the media or with the gallery. I mean, it's work. It's a competition, and his excellence last year cannot be understated. What he accomplished: 7 wins with the tour, 2 outside that, including the Olympics. It was a phenomenal year. Now he's obviously had a little setback when he had the surgery with his hand, but I fully anticipate him to be ready to go. As far as Rory, I think Rory is a fan favorite globally in the golf scene. He's a very affable guy. He's candid with his press conferences. He's gone through some real clear disappointments. I mean, in the last 6 Masters, he's only been in the top 10 twice, and he's had 2 missed cuts in that 6 years of Masters. Then he had a streak going before that where he was in the top 10 consistently. So, there is a lot of pressure. But I think he is at a point now in his career where I fully expect him to be in the mix all the way through. His form has been really solid, and I think if we could get a pairing with these two guys on Sunday where they're in the lead and right next to each other, I think that would be the absolute greatest thing going for the sport, because then you're going to see a real heavyweight fight, because both of these guys will not blink, not for a second, against one another. They know what they have to do to win, and I think both of them could push each other to give the kind of performance that one would be for the ages.
I agree. I pray for that from a sports standpoint. I would love to see a Sunday of something like that. That would be sensational. So 75 tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Friday they're calling for 40% of rain, thunderstorms 70, then sunny all through the weekend. So just Friday looks a little dicey from the rain standpoint. If the rain comes through, if there are thunderstorms and a downpour and it's going to soften everything up, let's say, then really Saturday you can expect some real low numbers, wouldn't you?
Well, it all depends how they dial up the course, Phil. I mean, they can do a lot of things on those greens. I mean, it all depends. And I think, they realized when they put new tee boxes in at the 5th hole especially, and of course 13 when it was added on, when they got the additional land from the adjoining Augusta Country Club, they modified the golf course so that they're going to mandate that the players are still going to be able to hit golf shots that maybe what players did from years back. It's hard to say. I think one of the advantages for somebody like Scotty tomorrow, he's going out around 10 o'clock, a little after 10 a.m., something like that. And I think it's just great when you're that kind of thoroughbred of a player, you don't want to wait around all day, and he's going to have an opportunity to show what he can do. Rory's going to go out a little bit later. But I think one of the things about the Masters more than anything else is, you got to know how to pick your spots. You got to be able to don't get tempted into shooting for flags that are going to put you in a very precarious situation. One of the things that's really important over the last, I don't know how many Masters, you don't want to be too many shots off the pace. Yes, there have been tremendous comebacks over the years, but they're more rare and the exception than the rule. I would fully anticipate that if you can get Rory and Scotty below 70 on tomorrow's round, they're going to be ready to go, and it's sort of like an Indy car. They're going to be ready to take the turns and be ready to fire up when they get to the weekend. And when you get to a weekend at the Masters, like any other major, how do you handle that kind of pressure? Because there's no way you can duplicate major championship pressure. You have to experience it and go with it. And I think these two guys alone, I'm fully expecting these guys to be battling it out with each other. I would be surprised if either or both of them were not really in the tussle all the way through. I just think that Scotty's coming into form, and I think Rory's had the form all the way, and I think it would be just great for the sport for these two guys to finally meet up with each other on Sunday, shake hands, and give us a 15-round thriller.
That'd be awesome. You're awesome, MJ. We thank you. Have a great evening. Talk to you tomorrow night.
Guys,
Thanks,
a
MJ.
pleasure. Always a pleasure. Take care.
MJ Ward. You want to read MJ, you can find his stuff. You can find his stuff online at Golf Today. M. James Ward is his official name. We call him MJ. But he writes for Golf Today and other publications, and, of course, works with us, all the majors and other important golf events. So thank you, MJ. Great stuff as always. Let's go to Scotty Scheffler. Media Day was yesterday when the top golfers went before the international media. Here's a little bit from the defending champion as he took questions from the media, and his first answer from a reporter has to do with his, I'm trying to remember his answer here, has to do with his, I can't remember. Let's just go to his answer.
I'm fascinated with the way you attack golf courses, and I'm curious if you've evolved at all at Augusta National in terms of just strategy and the way you attack it, or has that kind of stayed the same throughout?
A lot of the golf course changes with the weather here, and the last couple of years we've had some really interesting weather days. You know, and I think at 22 we had some high wind days, and we had a really cold day that was windy and firm, and then in 23 we had, you know, 1 or 2 days where we played through some pretty heavy rains, and so a softer golf course. And then last year we had a good mix as well, where we had some high winds. We also had some soft conditions and conditions that firmed up come Sunday. And a lot of the strategy for this place, I think, changes with the conditions of the course.
Is that something you're planning that morning, or as the round gets going, or?
I mean, it really depends. I think a lot of it's pretty fluid around the way you play the course, because, you know, depending on the firmness of the greens, there's certain pins you can try to attack, and there's certain pins you gotta, steer clear of. And then it also changes depending on the firmness of the greens. There's certain spots that are really good when it's soft, and there's certain spots that are a little bit harder when it's soft. And then, you know, there's certain spots when it's firm where, you know, you have to be, and then, you know, the reverse as well.
Scotty, in that video, the Every Hole at Augusta National video, it seemed like the one consistent theme you kept hitting was the importance of finding fairways and being in position off the tee. But you also talked a little bit about, with the exception of maybe left side of 2, left side of 8, if you get out of position, if you miss a fairway, you can kind of scramble, get back into play. Just wondering if you could just explain the mechanics of the suite of options you have when you find the fairway and you have, you know, the ability to maybe go at a pin versus you're punching out, you have to maybe spin control with the wedge, things like that.
Well, I mean, anytime you're missing the fairway here, like you said, you're going to be scrambling to make par. And so I guess, you know, just like a lot of golf courses, I think hitting the fairway is always important. You know, it's important to get off to a good start on the hole. And, you know, like you said, when you're in the fairway, there's some things that can open up for you. And when you miss a fairway, especially at a golf course like this, you're going to be behind some trees. You're going to be in a spot that is not as advantageous as being in the middle of the fairway. And I think that's one of the things that's great about this golf course is I love the trees. And when you hit the ball out of play, I think you're punished according, you know, to your miss. You know, if you hit it really far into the trees, you're going to have to hit it through more trees to get it back in the fairway. And, you know, I think this golf course also does a really good job of kind of graduating it to where when you're barely off the fairway, in most cases, you should have some sort of shot to get up around the green. But as you start getting further and further into the trees, it gets harder and harder to get the ball up by the green. And so I think directionally off the tee here, the further you hit offline, the more you're punished. And granted, a lot of the fairways are pretty generous, but if you're not in them, you know, you're going to be in trouble.
But in your 2-inch, your scrambling stats have been terrific. And last year, you were short of the green on 1, you were over the green on 2, you were in the front bunker left on 3, and you were very efficient. Can your tidiness and your scrambling, by not losing momentum, can you feel a sense of gaining momentum?
I would say for sure. I mean, when you look at the start to the tournament last year, if I don't get those 2 balls up and down on 1 and 2, you know, I'm 2 over through 2, starting with a 1-shot lead, and all of a sudden that lead's now gone. And I think you can definitely gain a little bit of momentum from getting those balls up and down, because it doesn't necessarily feel like you're stealing a full shot, but, you know, you get up and down on 1, you know, you're stealing, you know, maybe 7/10 of a shot or 3/10 of a shot. Then you get up and down on 2, you're stealing another maybe half shot from back there, and get up and down on three, saving another, quarter to half a shot. All of a sudden you're like, man, I'm doing some good stuff out here and saving some shots. And, it's not like I was missing close birdie looks and feeling like, I think there's a difference between like if you hit it to 6 feet on the first hole and miss it and hit it to 6 feet on the second hole, you feel like you're playing behind a little bit or you're losing some shots, but then all of a sudden you get up and down twice. It's the same score, but I think sometimes it can definitely feel a little bit different.
Okay, Scotty Scheffler, probably the guy to beat, I guess. If you're going to put money on it, Scotty Scheffler's as good a bet as anybody, and we'll see what happens. The first round tomorrow, as they say, you can't win the Masters the first round, but you can certainly lose it by having a bad day.
Isn't that true of every golf tournament?
Well, let me think about that. I'm not sure that the John Deere Classic is viewed in the same way, but it's possible.
But, it's true. You go out and shoot an 85 the opening round at the John Deere, a good chance you're not winning the tournament. You go shoot a 65, you're right in the mix.
No, here's
Same
where I'll
thing
disagree.
tomorrow.
I'll disagree with you because a little bit, because 85 John Deere Classic, you have a bad day one, but that course that you're playing, probably you can go out and shoot 62 the next day. Augusta National, I think you go out and have a bad day, 78, 80, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the course, I'd say chances of coming back and going real low, probably not as good, not as great. A lot depends on when you play and the conditions when you go out, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, I hear what you're saying. You shoot 85, you shoot something in the 80s, chances of winning, not real good.
On the PGA Tour, you shoot an 85 the first day, you're done.
Pretty much so. Let's go to the hour break. We got recruiting coming up and a whole lot more. Andy, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing well, Phil. I hope you and Chris and Josh are doing well this evening.
Yes, sir. You got about a minute. Better get to it. Better get to it.
My man Oliver, number one. Number two, what I want to say is this. If people would realize if there wasn't the COVID year, Don probably would have taken 6 teams in a row to the Final Four.
Yep.
So, quit trashing the woman. The woman's a great coach. She's a great ambassador for the university. I think she's a great ambassador for the state. And everybody who talks to trash are the ones who have problems, I believe, with something I don't want to bring up on the radio.
Well, I think it's okay. I think it's okay to like Dawn Staley as a basketball coach, admire her accomplishments as a player and a coach, but you can disagree with some of the things that she's done publicly.
Sure.
And I don't think that's harmful to anybody, and I think nobody should be disparaged for doing that. I don't agree with some of the positions that she's taken on some things, but from a basketball standpoint, just pure basketball player and coach, there's not many better at this stage. Be back in a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. Clear and showy this evening, a low temperature dipping to 47. Tomorrow, we have a blend of sunshine and clouds. We'll have a high climbing to 75. And Friday, look for us to start off with about a 50% chance of some showers. Things do get better for the afternoon with partly cloudy, partly sunny skies. Saturday and Sunday looking pretty nice. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Step into a world of comfortable living with Lexington Discount Homes. For over 3 decades, we've dedicated ourselves to helping families find their dream home. Our steadfast commitment to customer service and our broad range of homes ensure a fit for every taste and budget. Experience the stunning detail of a Lexington home in person at 1847 Augusta Highway. Too busy? Visit LexingtonDiscountHomes.com for a virtual tour. For homes that spell absolute comfort, you know where to find us. Lexington Discount Homes.
As we're in news, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. U.S. stocks soared to some of their best days in history on a euphoric Wall Street after President Trump said he would back off on most of his tariffs temporarily. The S&P 500 soared 9.5% Wednesday, though it's still below where it was when Trump announced his sweeping set of tariffs last week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average flew nearly 3,000 points higher, and the Nasdaq Composite jumped 12.2%. The U.S. Postal Service is seeking a rate increase this summer that includes hiking the cost of a first-class stamp from 73 cents to 78 cents. The request was made Wednesday to the Postal Regulatory Commission, which must okay the proposal. If approved, the 5-cent increase for a forever stamp and similar increases for postcards would take effect July 13th. This is SRN News.
Nobody plans for a plumbing problem. They come unannounced and usually at a very inconvenient time. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is your trusted ally. They recognize just how vulnerable a customer is at this time, and they want to help. They have well-trained plumbers who are there to make a difference when you need it most. I've experienced this. They're knowledgeable about their craft. They're not coming to your house to pitch new products. If something is broken, they'll give you a price to fix it if it's possible, or a price to replace it if necessary. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is also locally owned and operated, or I simply wouldn't endorse them. Josh and his team prioritize customer service above everything else. They handle every issue with care and precision. Those are not just words. I've had Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning out to my home. They back up those words with their actions. If you have a crisis, get some peace of mind. Online, you find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com, or you call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. I'm absolutely positive they will make whatever is wrong right again. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Tradition and quality. That's what you get with H&J Cattle Company, where local third-generation farmers ensure you receive the finest beef in South Carolina. Our registered Hereford and Wagyu cattle are raised with sustainable practices without growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. Taste the difference with the highest quality beef guaranteed. Order now at HandJCattle.com or on Instagram and Facebook at H&J Cattle. Again, HandJCattle.com, where ethics meets quality.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, honey, will you pick up some cold medicine? I'm not feeling great today.
Already on it. I stopped by True Pharmacy and got some for free.
For free?
Yes, every time we shop at True, we earn loyalty points we can use out front.
I remember now. We got $10 in loyalty points just for transferring our first prescriptions.
That's right. True Pharmacy, the pharmacy that truly cares. Come see us at our new Columbia location at 623 Beltline Boulevard or in West Columbia at Triangle Pharmacy at 1239 D Avenue. Visit TrueRxSC.com for more info.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, time for the recruiting report right here on Sports Talk on this Wednesday night, brought to you by Seawells. All right, Thursday, daily luncheon buffet.
It sounds amazing. Southern fried chicken, lasagna, carved applewood smoked ham, and fried sway fish nuggets.
That sounds awesome. Only $14 if you pay in cash, $14.50 with a debit or credit card. And it's available from 11 till 2, right across from the State Fairgrounds. It's Seawells. Just look for the Rocket at the State Fairgrounds, and then you want to walk at a 90-degree angle from the Rocket. Is that right? 90 degrees? Yeah, that's to your right. 90 degrees would be to your right if it's on your left. If the Rocket's on your left,
it's
look
across
to your
the street. Just say that.
If the Rocket's on your left, look to your right, and you'll see Seawells. Yeah. But if the rocket's on your right, look to your left. There you go. Now, for your big event coming up this spring and summer and fall, but who has big events in the fall during football season? Some people do. Some people who don't care about family members who depend on going to football games. Some people plan things in the fall.
What if Seawells wants to cater, or what if people want Seawells to cater a tailgate?
Oh, they got that covered.
Exactly.
But don't jump into the commercial, will you? Anyway, for your big event that's coming up, you want to give Seawells a phone call and let them work with you. 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Chris, you know anybody in your family who plans big events during football season?
I've long given my dad, who's a huge football fan, long given him grief about their anniversary. My parents' anniversary is in the middle of October. And so once I got of age that I could understand all this stuff, I always asked Dad, how in the world did you get married during football season? What were you thinking? And he said, well, you have to remember when we got married back in the 60s, there was one football game on television a week. How are we supposed to know that there would be 8,000 options every Saturday?
True.
So
that is
I cut
true.
him some slack.
That is true. Yeah, I got some in my family that just don't consider what the old man has to do for a living. But that's okay. I'll sacrifice. That's what I do. Sacrifice. Okay, recruiting. Defensive tackle Elijah Golden, 6'3", 260 from Sarasota. One of the top prospects at the Elite Retreat at Clemson in early March. That was his first chance to get to know Dabo Swinney and defensive tackles coach Nick Eason in a personal setting. And he didn't even chance to see him at his school because they were going to be coming to his school. But on that day, he was sick, so they didn't come in. And so this was the first chance to see them in person. It went great, he said. Really enjoyed the visit, enjoyed hearing from Dabo Swinney, and likes the fact that Clemson plays for national championships from time to time. So it's a school that he is keeping an eye on and considering. So he is hoping to lock in an official visit to Clemson sometime in the near future. No timeline on a commitment. He also has offers from the likes of South Carolina, Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma. I don't know that South Carolina is all that much involved at this point. This spring, he has been to Virginia Tech and Alabama, along with that visit to Clemson, and he's scheduled to go to Notre Dame on April 17th. An update on Clinton offensive guard Trey Aiken, who has wrapped up all of his unofficials this spring. He did that last weekend at NC State. Prior to that, he'd been to Georgia Tech, Florida, Virginia Tech, and South Carolina, and those schools comprise his 5 finalists. And he said this week he had no other plans for spring visits, even to the USC spring game a week from Friday. At this moment, he did leave the door cracked for maybe another visit to South Carolina. He talks a lot to Sam Survey, who was one of the recruiters out of the recruiting office, talks to him about every week. And he talks to Lonnie Teasley a lot. He talks to Shane Beamer a lot as well. And they've just been telling him how much of an impact he could make in their program, how important he would be to them to come join the program. March 29th was the day that he made his spring visit to USC, and he scheduled that date so he could watch the offensive line go at it against the defensive front. He really was impressed with how the Gamecock offensive linemen looked on that particular day. He's got 4 officials set: Georgia Tech May 30th, NC State June 6th, Virginia Tech June 13th, and South Carolina June 20th. He said he expects to make his commitment announcement within a couple of weeks of that final official visit, which will be to South Carolina. That would make it sometime around the middle part of July for his commitment announcement. Meantime, defensive tackle Aiden Harris of Weddington, North Carolina, was at South Carolina today. That's half of the Harris twins. Safety Zeke Marshall, 6'6", 200, formerly of Westside, now at Rabun Gap, Georgia, has been to Kentucky. He was there today. Clemson has also been involved. He visited for the spring game and in early March. Virginia Tech, Kentucky, and West Virginia are his major offers. South Carolina Clemson running back target Carson Baker was at Ohio State today, and now it's being reported Ohio State is the favorite. Of course, when he visited South Carolina, it was reported that South Carolina is the favorite. Of course, then when he went to Clemson, it was reported that Clemson is the favorite. You see a trend in our reporting here.
I do.
Clemson target offensive tackle Carter Scruggs visited Penn State this week. 2027 defensive end Jaden Bryant of Irmo plans to visit Tennessee Saturday. Basketball. Jamie Shaw of On3 reported that Boston College transfer forward 6'8" Eddie Strong will visit South Carolina this weekend. He averaged 10 points, 4 rebounds per game. He's out of Charlotte. According to On3 Sports Transfer Portal, former South Carolina forward Nick Pringle may be headed to Arkansas. I mean, again, I don't know the deal. Why would you let Nick Pringle walk and bring in Eddie Strong? Numbers-wise, they're about a wash. Now, maybe they're
the same
two
player.
Are they the same player? I don't know. I haven't seen Eddie Strong play. You ever seen him play?
No, I haven't, but I know I was saying that they sound like comparable players. And the question is, and I posed this to you during the break, I said, these are the kind of questions I would love to get a comment from Lamont Paris, from Brad Brownell, about how they handle recruiting in the portal era. And why would you allow R.J. Godfrey to leave and then come back, or, Nick Pringle to get away, and the things that we're seeing right now. And in years past, the coaches can't ever comment on any of this stuff because you can't comment on a prospective recruit. But you brought up a great point. Is that changing now that they are paid athletes and paid athletes, not employees yet?
Yeah, it's time to do away with that stupid rule. It's time to do away.
I agree. I always thought it was dumb to begin with.
Coaches, general managers, assistant coaches, if they're asked about a player, they should be able to talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
I think the NCAA imposed that because they didn't want coaches going publicly trying to influence players by saying, we have a shortage at this position, and he would fill in and do just a great job. The heck with that now. It's about the money. By and large, it's about the money. So let's do away with that rule. Let's allow coaches to take questions and give answers to those questions if they choose.
That'd be fascinating.
They can say, I don't want to answer that if they want to.
I would love to hear Lamont Paris's reasoning. There may be a very good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Nick Pringle wasn't happy at USC, so you don't want to keep him.
Yeah.
Maybe the Gamecocks didn't think he was going to fit as they tried to transition a little bit differently from the way they played this year to next year. Who knows?
I
think it would be an interesting discussion.
If we're going to be pros, let's act like pros.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as simple as that. According to, I've already did that one. Former College of Charleston forward Ante Berzovic drawing a lot of portal attention, including Clemson and South Carolina. Coastal Carolina guard Rasheed Jones pulled his name out of the transfer portal and returned to Coastal. Is that good?
He's flopped back.
He's a flop back.
He's a flop back.
He's a flop back. Well, actually, he never went anywhere else.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. He's not R.J. Godfrey. He's not a flop back. He's a half flush.
Yeah, he's a half flush. He's an overflow.
If you go in the portal but don't get flushed all the way away from your school.
He's an overflow. He didn't get flushed all the way down, so it's
he's a clog.
He's a clog.
Like that.
Yeah,
he's a clog.
He's a clog because he didn't go all the way through the flushing process. Way to go, plumber.
Poor Rasheed.
And Clemson women, they add DePaul transfer 5'9" Taylor Johnson Matthews. She averaged 14.5 points per game this season. Okay, we got to run to the break here on Sports Talk. That is it for recruiting. Follow along on our recruiting if you want to on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. You can read our stories there, and also on our X account, SC Sports Now, SC Sports Now, and you can do a search for ST Recruiting. We don't do hashtags anymore. Just put in a search for ST Recruiting. We begin all our recruiting stories on X with ST Recruiting. Take you right to it.
Now through May 31st, 2025, buy the house now and reset your rate later with Mortgage Reset from Founders Federal Credit Union. Open a new mortgage or refinance an existing mortgage and get the lowest rate you qualify for now. Then you can reset it once for free anytime rates drop. That's right. At any time during the life of the loan, you can reset your rate to the lowest rate you qualify for at that time at no additional cost. Visit foundersfcu.com/mortgage to learn more. Find your local mortgage loan officer or start your application. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required. Equal housing lender. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
If you're looking to grow your business, Sports Talk is here to help. Whether you're a small business owner or part of a large company in the Palmetto State, we want to hear about what you do. Sports Talk has a proven track record of delivering real results to our partners, and advertising with us is probably more affordable than you think. Our network of affiliates gives us the flexibility to work with budgets of all sizes, and our statewide coverage means that whether you're in Greenville, Orangeburg, Chesterfield, Charleston, Woodruff, or anywhere in between, your future customers are listening to Sports Talk every night. Radio remains one of the most effective ways to reach potential customers, and with our extensive reach across South Carolina, your message will be heard. Every business has a story, and we're here to help share yours. Let's find success together. Email us at sportstalkmedianetwork@gmail.com or visit sportstalksc.com to learn more about how we can help grow your business.
Major Downer here from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is just around the corner. To make sure that your boat is ready, check your registration sticker and ensure it's current. Find your registration card, make sure your life jackets are in good shape, and check your fire extinguisher as well. For more information on boating or boat titling questions, visit dnr.sc.gov/boating.
All right, South Carolina opening up a series tomorrow at Texas A&M. Another tough series ahead for the Gamecocks. Bergie, you got the pitching plans for the Gamecocks in front of you?
Yeah, I think it's Jake McCoy and then Matthew Becker and then TBA, if I'm not mistaken.
TBA. Yep, you're right. McCoy and Becker, and then maybe they'll be able to.
Jarvis Evans?
Beg your pardon?
And maybe Jarvis Evans on Sunday if they don't have to use him in long relief.
Could be Jarvis Evans, or it could be SQ, because he had a good bullpen.
That's true.
So last night, of course, the Gamecocks won 13-3, 7 innings over Upstate. Ethan Petrie hit his 53rd career homer. He's 9 short of tying the record. And they got off to a 6-0 start with that grand slam. And here is some of what we haven't had a whole lot of Coach Maneri on the show. So we got to get him on the show at some point. But here are some of his comments about the team, not talking about the game so much last night, but about the team and looking ahead to Texas A&M. And he answers the question about, you got a good non-SEC record, but your SEC record is not all that good. How is it that you're kind of keeping the guys together and keeping their confidence up when they play these SEC teams?
I've said this many times, to be young again. They can shake it off pretty quickly, much better than 67-year-old coaches do. They got a lot going on in their lives, with classes and social life and everything else. So, it's a good thing to have a short memory as a young player. This past weekend, we had a wonderful win on Friday night and thought it would, catapult us. And then we just got off to such a bad start on Saturday, dug ourselves a big hole right out of the gate, and then didn't hit well. And then Sunday we hit worse, and so it was a disappointing ending to the weekend. But you just got to look forward. The kids have resolve, and it doesn't do any good to just beat them down. If you don't stay positive and upbeat with them, then they're probably going to turn the other direction. You got to stay upbeat with them and try to keep them believing in themselves, and hopefully this win today will give us good momentum going into the weekend.
Hey, Paul, what made tonight the night to get Dalton back into the lineup? I know he hasn't played since, I think, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, he's had this hip issue that's been really bad. He had to have a procedure done, and it's been feeling pretty good. He had some sim at bats the other day, and I think in his 4 at bats, he hit one really good base hit up the middle, but struck out a couple of times, and his timing is a little off. But look, I knew we were facing a left-handed pitcher tonight. I know we're going to face 3 left-handed pitchers this weekend, and I just thought it was a good time to get him back in there. He's feeling good, and you haven't even asked me about moving Petrie to left field, but Mayshore is he's one of the best outfielders I've ever had, coaching-wise, defensively, and he plays right field as good as anybody. So I just feel like that's an asset for him out there in right field. And I know you probably haven't been to College Station, Jack, but the sun is really a factor at their field, and I think just Mayshore in right field against Texas A&M is going to be an asset for us too. So yeah, I thought it was time. And hey, look, I think we had 22 games going in left and 23 games going left in the season, and this is his last year, and I just thought it was time to put him back in and let him play and see what he can do. Obviously, he did something really good. I wish he would have had another good at bat the other time he was up. He swung at a 3-2 changeup that was out of the strike zone.
2 quick ones for you. You mentioned the other day to me and John that Dylan Eskew thought maybe was scheduled to throw a bullpen today. Did he throw one, and if so, how did it go?
He did throw one, and it was about as positive as it could be. I would not have believed it yesterday, because yesterday he was not feeling good at all, just trying to play catch. But today he threw a bullpen and didn't have any pain at all, and threw all his pitches, and now we're going to have to wait and see how he feels tomorrow, after throwing. So, but it was as good as it could have gone today, so we'll have to just play it by ear tomorrow and see what he feels.
And then another guy you got into the lineup today, Ryan Bakes, hasn't played in a little while, I don't think. And what made you want to get him in the lineup tonight? More at-bats, more reps?
Yeah, and, he's got power. And, we haven't had much power all year. We hit 3 home runs tonight, not any by him, but I just wanted to give him a chance. I've given him some opportunities. He hasn't really taken advantage of them, done that well with them. And tonight he got 1 hit, but struck out a couple of times. So, he did okay. I thought he caught a good game. But I just thought, I was going to play Brayland, and I just thought, let's just see against a left-handed pitcher if maybe he's an answer for us as well. Mixed results tonight.
I asked about one more injured player, LaCroix. Any update on his situation?
Yeah, I'm afraid that to announce that he's probably out for the season. Yeah, unfortunate. I met with him today, and he got an injection before we went to Mississippi State in his hip, and it just didn't really help him much at all. So I think he's resolved to having to have a procedure that's going to have a 6 or 7 week type of recovery, which takes us to the end of the season. So now we're talking about the possibility of medical red shirt. He actually does qualify for it, but barely. Like he would have had to have played in 18 or less games, and he's played in 17. So that wasn't by design. That was just really kind of blind luck. And then there's another factor. So he's got to make it. He's going to graduate this summer, so he's going to have to make a decision whether or not he wants to play and go to graduate school or get on with his life. But I think the season's over for him this year.
Sticking with the catcher position, you've had a lot of guys start. I mean, Braylon started recently. Coffer started the other day. Bakes tonight. At this point in the year, what do you kind of look for? What do you kind of prioritize at the catcher position? Is it more so defense, offense, when you try to put someone in the starting lineup consistently?
Well, all our catchers are hitting under 200, so it's not a lot of great options there from an offensive standpoint. So, obviously I've played Gavin Braylon quite a bit because I think he's an outstanding receiver, blocker of balls. He works well with the pitchers. He's a young kid and he's gaining experience. Yeah, I like Gavin, Coffer really hasn't taken advantage of the opportunities that he's been given. I don't know how else to say. I think he's had 10 at-bats in SEC play with 8 strikeouts. So, everybody's getting a chance. This is the earn it business we're in, So, I wish somebody would just have taken the bull by the horns and say I should be the starting catcher once Tal went down. But it's really just kind of a gut feeling on who to go with, Jack. I'd love to see more offense out of the position, but it hasn't really happened. So, to see every day when I get up what I feel is the best combination dealing with the pitcher that's pitching and who should catch him and that type of thing.
I do like his honesty, Maneri.
Yes.
I like his. He didn't sugarcoat it. Yeah, we got no catcher hitting over 200, and this guy's had his opportunity. He's 0 for 10 in SEC. He didn't try to sugarcoat it. He just tells it like it is.
Yeah, and they've their hitting has been as big a deal as their lack of pitching. They're only batting .278 as a team, and you take Ethan Petrie and Nathan Hall out of the mix, and then you really start to drop off. So yeah, you've got to score runs in the SEC, and then they give up so many. Phil, it's just it's a bad combination for them. They're actually okay fielding wise, right around 980 as a team fielding wise, but boy, some of the other areas on that team you just tough to win in a league as talented and as stacked as the SEC is when you can't score runs, and then on the flip side, you can't stop the other team from scoring runs.
Well, let's see what happens. Mayshore going to start in right because A&M's going to throw 3 lefties at him. That's why he started last night. Upstate threw a lefty, and he's a good hitter. He's supposed to be a good hitter. He's had a hip injury. That puts Petrie in left. He's never played left before. Last night was the first time he'd ever played left. So that could become a defensive liability because you just don't, playing a corner position, you have to know what you're doing. It also allows, with Petrie, of course, playing left or right, it allows Bo Hollins to stay at first, and he's been swinging a pretty good bat for them.
Yeah, they've got to keep him in there.
Yeah. Clemson and Gardner-Webb are scoreless, bottom of the third. Tigers have nobody out, runners on first and second. Also tonight, we've got Wofford leading Winthrop 10-3, bottom of the seventh. Campbell leading Duke 7-2, bottom of the sixth, and Ole Miss in the bottom of the sixth is leading Alcorn State 29-0. 29-0. Had one question here I wanted to answer.
We have mercy rules now
in
college sports.
Let me answer this real quick. Has Shane added an offensive assistant to fulfill the role Shula filled last season? I think he's added 2 guys, Davis Cutter, who comes in as assistant quarterback coach, and he's also added Ben Burris, who comes from the NFL, and he's the passing game specialist. So I think those 2 are probably working in that role together. Okay, that'll do it. We'll see you tomorrow night.